They want you to spend $10,000 on a battery that can brick itself with a single software glitch. Today, we expose the lithium battery scam, why lead acid is still king for the sovereign sailor. We have been told that old-school batteries are dead technology, but the truth is much more dangerous for your wallet. While big tech pushes fragile, complex systems that require a computer just to turn on, the smartest sailors are quietly sticking to the dumb, heavy iron that actually works when the world goes dark. There is a hidden reason why a brand new lithium bank is a total liability in a real ocean storm. A secret the industry is hiding to keep you dependent on their smart sensors. Are you buying a high-tech explosion waiting to happen? Or are you ready to reclaim the simple power that corporate vampires cannot turn off? Step up to the dock, and you're greeted by banners promising freedom in a box. Up to 69% lighter, twice the capacity, control your power from anywhere. Just download the app. The lithium sales pitch glows with silicon optimism, all brushed aluminum cases and glossy screens showing a battery icon pulsing blue. The brochures are stacked high at every boat show, each one shouting about weight savings you can measure in bags of cement and smart features that belong in a Silicon Valley boardroom, not the salt-stained cockpit of a cruising boat. Never worry again, they say. Your battery will text you before anything goes wrong. There is always a sailor in a polo shirt, holding a phone with a subscription banner flashing at the top, offering an upgrade to premium diagnostics. The fine print never makes the headlines: remote lockout, firmware updates, the cloud connection that can brick your $10,000 bank if the satellite drops out. But the ad copy is relentless. Replace 4 heavy lead bricks with a single featherweight power module. Monitor your state of charge from the beach bar. Sleep easy with advanced battery management system protection. The numbers are seductive. A typical 12-volt, 200 amp-hour lithium pack weighs in at 25 kilograms, half the heft of an old AGM bank, and promises 2,000 cycles before retirement. The price? A marine-rated 48-volt, 200 amp-hour house bank with a proprietary app, locked battery management system tips the scale at $9,000 to $12,000, plus whatever the subscription service decides to charge this year. No need to check water, no need to clean terminals, just trust the digital brain and let the algorithm decide when you are allowed to sail. It is a dream sold in pixels and promises. Wave goodbye to the toolbox, say hello to the dashboard notification. The pitch is simple: buy their battery, pay their monthly fee, and you will never have to think about power again. But when the banner ad flickers and the cloud connection stutters, who is left holding the ocean's invoice? Wind howling, hull shuddering, and somewhere off the Azores, a cruiser's world narrows to red digits and a single VHF mic. The radio log ticks over, 1941 UTC, squall line approaching, force 7 on the Beaufort scale, breaking seas, spray stinging through every hatch seam. Then, in the space of a minute, the lights die. Not a flicker, not a warning, just a hard blackout. The ship's log, later anonymized for insurance, records it flat. Total loss of house power. Battery management system error code 23. No reset. All systems dead. 1942. The voice that crackles out in the log is clipped, controlled, but the edge is there. Attempted manual override, no response. Navigation dark. Pumps offline. Reverting to paper chart and hand bilge. In under 60 seconds, the digital brain, the battery management system that was supposed to protect and serve, has thrown the breaker on every circuit. Not a blown fuse, not a tripped breaker, but a silent software-triggered exile. The ocean does not wait for firmware. Salt spray and vibration are old adversaries, but now the enemy is invisible. A line of code, a sensor reading, a threshold crossed. The battery management system, built to save the pack from harm, does its job too well, cutting power to every load, every lifeline. No way in, no reset, no phone call to the cloud. The log's last entry before the static reads, switching to emergency lantern. Engine start battery isolated. Will attempt generator restart if weather abates. Insurance adjusters later count the minutes between blackout and recovery, but out there, in the teeth of the squall, the difference is life or death. The promise of never worry again turns out to be a contract written in fine print and enforced by a microchip. When the digital brain bricks itself, the ocean collects its invoice in real time. One error code, one lost connection, and the sovereign sailor is left with nothing but hand tools and a prayer. That is the truth. The glossy brochures never print. Strip away the glossy brochures and you are left staring at the actual wiring diagram, the digital noose drawn tight around the neck of any sailor who dares to trust a microchip over a wrench. Here is how it works. Every lithium pack is governed by a battery management system, abbreviated BMS, a controller that sits between the cells and your entire boat, watching a handful of sensors like a nervous bureaucrat with a finger on the kill switch. One bad reading and the BMS pulls the plug. It starts innocently enough. A temperature probe buried near the hottest cell reads a brief spike, maybe from a splash of salt water, maybe just a loose connector vibrating on a cold night. The BMS firmware, written by some faraway engineer who has never seen a breaking sea, flags an over-temperature condition. In a lead-acid world, you would smell a bit of acid, check the water, and keep moving. Here, the BMS logic does not ask questions. It sends a command to the MOSFET switch pack, solid-state gatekeepers rated for hundreds of amps. In 38 seconds, the digital brain executes a full shutdown. Every circuit, every load, every hope of power is cut off in silence. There is no fuse to replace, no relay to reset. The BMS, locked down by proprietary firmware, waits for a dealer handshake or a cloud connection that might never come. Some units even ship with a remote disable hook designed for fleet operators, but just as happy to brick your boat if the satellite handshake fails or a software update glitches mid-passage. The block diagram looks clean in the manual, but in reality, it is a cascade, one sensor hiccup, a flag thrown in software, and the high current MOSFETs swing open like a trapdoor. The house bank goes dark. Pumps, radios, navigation, all offline. What is left is a lesson in single-point failure. The entire system depends on a daisy chain of sensors, firmware, and remote logic, any one of which can exile you to darkness with no warning. It is not a conspiracy theory, it is a matter of topology. One bad bite, one corroded pin, and the digital noose snaps shut. That is the universal flaw, baked into every locked lithium pack sold to sailors who still believe the ocean can be reasoned with. A battery chemist stands behind a salt spray chamber, sleeves rolled up, face set. Inside the plexiglass box, a lithium NCA cell sits wired and ready. The chamber fills with a fine mist, 3% sodium chloride, the same concentration as seawater spray blown through a cracked hatch. A timer clicks on. In less than 2 seconds, the cell vents. Not a gentle puff, but a violent jet of white vapor, plastic casing blistering, vent cap blown. The digital readout flashes 1.6 seconds from first salt contact to catastrophic failure. This isn't theory, it's what happens when high-density lithium meets the ocean's oldest trick, salt and moisture everywhere, all the time. The chemist's voice cuts through, steady but grim. Salt water is a perfect conductor. It bridges the terminals, bypasses the battery management system, and the cell can't tell the difference between a controlled discharge and a dead short. Once the runaway starts, there is no stopping it. The heat climbs past 150 degrees Celsius and the electrolyte breaks down into gas. If you are lucky, the cell just vents. If you are not, the whole pack follows. Lab data backs it up. NCA and NMC chemistries are the worst offenders. Aluminum layers corrode almost instantly, and the chain reaction jumps from cell to cell. Propagation. Time in a salt-rich mist is measured in 1 or 2 seconds, not minutes. The Environmental Protection Agency Fire Hazard Report logged a 30% spike in hydrofluoric acid gas when Runaway hits under salt spray, enough to eat through metal and leave rescuers coughing on the dock. In a sealed bilge, the pressure from vented gas can blow a battery compartment apart. Coast Guard guidance now warns that even a splash, even a pinhole leak, is enough to trigger a full pack event. This isn't a scare story for the insurance adjusters. It's a physical fact, proven in every lab that has tried to simulate what happens when marine-rated lithium packs get wet. The glossy sales pitch skips the footage, but the salt does not care about marketing. One cell, one splash, 1 second, and the ocean collects its invoice in fire and acid. A vendor spokesperson stands in front of a wall of lithium packs, logo crisp, shirt tucked. The pitch is polished, practiced, a promise wrapped in warranty, and warranty wrapped in numbers. The spokesman says their marine lithium batteries are designed for the harshest conditions. Each pack is sealed, salt-tested, and monitored by a proprietary battery management system. That means you get real-time diagnostics, remote firmware updates, and peace of mind wherever you sail. If there is ever a problem, the app will alert you instantly, no surprises, no guesswork. He gestures to a graph splashed with color. Compared to lead acid, you are looking at up to 69% lifetime savings. That is not just the sticker price. Factor in labor, downtime, and maintenance, no more topping up water, no more corroded terminals. The packs run thousands of cycles, and they are backed with a 5-year warranty. The numbers keep coming. A typical 200 amp-hour lithium bank weighs half as much as an AGM bank. You get twice the usable capacity, and with remote diagnostics, you are never alone. If you are in Fiji or the Faroes, the service team can troubleshoot your system by satellite. Firmware upgrades are delivered over the air, and if there is a fault, they can walk you through a reset or, if needed, dispatch a replacement within days. He holds up a phone. Everything is at your fingertips: state of charge, temperature, even predictive maintenance. It is like having a full-time electrician on board. And with subscription diagnostics, you are covered for every mile. A final number flashes across the screen: 69% lifetime savings. The message is clear: trust the system, trust the cloud, and trust that the digital brain will keep the lights on when the ocean gets rough. The sales pitch is smooth, the confidence absolute. The promise: never worry again. A battered set of mechanics' hands cracks open the lid of a lead-acid battery box. No gloves, just a rag and a socket wrench. The deck rocks, salt in the air, but the job is simple. A voltmeter, a flathead screwdriver, and a cheap hydrometer. These are the tools that keep the lights burning when the sea gets ugly. The sailor pulls a cell cap, checks the fluid, and tops off with distilled water from a plastic jug. The whole process takes less than 10 minutes, even in a rolling anchorage. If a cell sags, it is swapped out for a spare pulled from the locker. No apps, no passwords, no waiting for a cloud connection to grant permission. The only spec that matters is torque, 10 Newton meters on the terminal bolt, enough to keep the cable tight through a gale, and loose enough to free by hand if corrosion creeps in. When a terminal grows fuzzy with salt, a wire brush and a dab of dielectric grease restore the connection. If the bank needs equalizing, a manual charger and a watchful eye get it done. The sailor knows every cable run by heart. There is no hidden firmware, no factory lockout, no message saying contact your dealer in the middle of the night. If a cell dies, the cost is $50 and a quarter hour of sweat, not a $1,000 air freight bill or a week waiting for a technician to fly in. The battery bank is honest iron, heavy, slow, and utterly loyal. You can see the problem, fix the problem, and keep moving. That is the kind of sovereignty you cannot buy from a glossy brochure or a subscription service. The spreadsheet doesn't lie, but it doesn't sail offshore either. The 69% lifetime savings claim gets paraded by every lithium vendor from Miami to Marseille. But when you dig into the real numbers, the ones that matter when you are 1,000 miles from a marina, the story cracks wide open. Start with the invoice for a replacement lithium module. Air freight to the Azores is quoted at $1,800, not including customs or the week you will spend waiting at anchor for a courier who has never even set foot on a boat. Spare pack logistics? Hope you have deep lockers and a forgiving spouse, because a full-size lithium backup will not fit under the settee, and shipping delays can stretch into months if you are outside the main yachting circuit. The glossy total cost of ownership charts always assume you will cycle your bank daily in a climate-controlled slip with a certified technician on speed dial. Offshore, most sovereign sailors run lean, LED lights, VHF, a hand drill, and a fridge if they are feeling fancy. At that draw, the deep cycle advantage of lithium barely moves the needle, but the price tag still bites. The honest math: a golf cart lead acid bank sized for 40% depth of discharge costs less than a single lithium module and can be serviced with a wrench and a jug of distilled water. When a cell sags, you swap it for $50, not $1,500. No app, no subscription, no contact your dealer message blinking when the battery management system, BMS, gets spooked. Every spreadsheet the industry waves around leaves out the ocean's invoice, downtime, spare parts, and the cost of betting your life on a digital brain that might lock you out when the salt gets in. The true cost is not what you pay at the chandlery. It is what you risk when the wind picks up and the cloud connection drops. For the sovereign sailor, the only number that counts is the one you can fix at sea. Start with the cell, flooded deep cycle, not sealed, not maintenance-free. You want honest plates, thick separators, and a case you can actually open. Stack 4-volt or 6-volt golf cart batteries in series for a 12-volt or 24-volt bank. Skip the boutique marine labels and look for batteries stamped with a real date code and a warranty you can read without a lawyer. Every connection gets a copper lug, crimped and heat shrunk, not a cheap ring terminal from a hardware store. Use tinned marine-grade cable, AWG matched to your maximum load, and every run protected by a fuse mounted as close to the positive post as you can get. The fuse chart is not a suggestion. Size it for the weakest link, not the salesman's promises. Ventilation is non-negotiable. A battery box with a louvered lid and a drain hole keeps hydrogen from pooling. Add a simple analog voltmeter and a hydrometer. No Bluetooth, no app, no passwords, just tools you can trust when the spray starts flying. A sovereign sailor thrives on routine, not remote diagnostics. Every month, pop the caps and check the fluid with a hydrometer, 10 minutes, no passwords, no satellite handshake. Keep terminals tight and clean. A wire brush and a dab of grease beat any app. Switch every cabin light to LED and watch your nightly draw shrink to a trickle. Run your fridge sparingly, skip the inverter, and power your drill with elbow grease or a small hand tool. The less you ask of your bank, the longer it serves. That is the math. No spreadsheet will ever print. Out here, maintenance isn't a chore. It's a ritual. The more you know your gear, the less you owe to anyone else. That is freedom you can feel in your hands and see in your logbook. Right now, the digital brain promises freedom, then locks you out at sea with a single glitch, while the corporate vampire counts your subscription dollars. But honest iron still answers when the ocean calls its invoice. True sovereignty is not bought, it is built. Wire by wire, with tools you can hold and skills you can trust. Free means competent. Leave your thoughts below. Let's keep the conversation honest.